All right, guys, it is Papa Smurf here. I haven't wanted to do this video for a while, which has not been fair to y'all, especially those of y'all that have been with me from the beginning. But and I wouldn't have done my April Fool's Day video had I known it was going to end as soon as it did. I've been off the trail now for over 4 weeks. I made it to Irwin, 300 miles in 70 days. The biggest reason I got off trail was financial. Some of the things that were in motion financially before I left did not come through like they should have or like I expected them to. And I could have gone further, but at some point I realized, and it was a few days before Irwin, I realized that I wouldn't be able to finish the trail with the money I was going to get or have left. And there was no point in doing, half the trail or 2/3 of the trail and then having to give up then as well, or, anyway. So I figured it was best to cut my losses, if you will, and come on home from Irwin, which I did. I'm here in Texas at my parents' place. And so, yeah, I will be back. The tentative plan is 2023 to hike the trail with more money. One of the big things for money-wise, it took a lot more money than I expected. It was a little more expensive than I expected per day, but the biggest expense as far as mileage went was the fact that, even at the end there, even though I had tripled my daily hiking to, 8 and 9 mile averages from the 3 mile day that we started with, which was quite an improvement, and I'm very proud of myself, and I lost 50 plus pounds. So I have no regrets, and it definitely changed my life in many ways. I met lots of different people that will be lifelong friends. Chicken and Dumpling and Cassidy and Zazu and Chimes. Just so many that will forever be in my hearts and memories, and hopefully I'll see several of them or many of them again, either on the trail or doing trail magic or other ways, as well as online and by phone, obviously. But at any rate, the biggest expense was that I was so slow. I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be, and being that difficult, how much money, what I expected. I expected to hit mile 200 when I was going to beat my brother at Klingman's Dome area, Gatlinburg there. I told him like day 20, 21, and it turned out to be almost day 50 something, day 60. So it was that much slower that I had expected that with the money that I did go 300 miles with, I would have been at least, 700 to 900 miles. And if I had been, a third of the trail in at that point, I probably would have continued on and at least had a good shot, maybe tighten the budget a little bit more, that kind of thing of finishing. The other thing that made it more expensive when you're going that slow is like going into town and getting food and then coming back out. For the hikers that are able to hike, 12 and 15 mile days, or when I would get to there, another couple months down the road, you can hike 2 or 3 miles, go on into town, get a ride back to the trail, and hike another 2 or 3 to the next camp spot easily and call it a short day. But when I'm only hiking 6 and 7 miles, the 2 miles to the roadway and the 2 miles from the roadway to the next campsite takes all my day. So I'm not unable to, catch a ride halfway through the day to go for a couple hours and grab food and come back to the trail and hike some more. I actually have to spend a day in town that I wouldn't necessarily have to if I could hike longer miles. So some of that would have been easier done had I been able to do longer miles. You could also then do a short day. I mean, for me, a short day was 1.5 miles, 2 miles. There were guys that were, doing 15s and 20 that to them 5 or 6 miles was a short day. I walked the one day in Gatlinburg, I walked 3.5 or 4 miles. I mean, that's half of my mileage at that point doing 8-mile days. So that's not really even a day off, and that was a day in town. So being as slow as I was, and it just cost more money per mile. A little bit more per day than I expected, but not necessarily a whole lot. It was mostly that it just cost more per mile. And the other thing was I did not realize how many times I would need to actually take a day off, even from the short mileage I was doing. And like somebody on the trail had said, well, think about it. I mean, in our modern lives, we work 5, maybe 6, and then we have a day off every single week. And that's with comfort of bed and all that on a nightly basis, let alone, getting one good rest day in a bed or whatever else. My initial planning had me at, every 9 or 10 days taking a day off. And it turned out it was a lot more than that. And I think that was necessary. Some that are maybe in better shape and are used to doing, more physical activity on a regular basis as far as running marathons or, things like that it might be a little different for them. If they go running every morning, they're used to that. But as little physical exertion as I had done beforehand, it was all I could do to go 3 miles that day one. So, I'm sad that I had to leave the trail, but I'm not unhappy with what I accomplished. 70 days out there and 300 miles is, you go do it. If you don't think it's a big accomplishment, you go do it, and you tell me that it's not that difficult. It is disappointing that I wasn't able to finish. However, it wasn't from any injury that I couldn't push through, or from, I had tripled my mileage. I had done a day over 10 miles and was getting very close to being able to repeat those, doing 8s and 9s on average for the last 6 or 7 hiking days there. And so it was definitely coming as I kept going. And had I kept going another month or so, another 20 pounds lost, and I would have been, definitely doing 10s and 12s. So it just takes a little more time and money than I expected at least starting at 300 pounds, 320 pounds. The last thing I want to say real quick is for those who are at that kind of a weight, I've seen comments on Facebook posts and things like that about, I'm overweight and can I do the trail, or should I lose weight before? I suggest trying the trail. It was first off, I don't know how many weight loss plans are going to get you 50 pounds lost in, 60, 70 days. And each day you're kind of stuck. It's not like you have to force yourself to go to the gym, because you're stuck in the middle of the woods. Like, you have to get back to town. So even if you're ending your hike, you still have, 10 miles, which is 3 days just to get back to town. So it's not like, you can decide not to do it that day. I mean, you might be able to do one day that way, but you can't continually put off, or you're going to run out of food and ultimately you die out there. So like, it's a matter of survival that you continue moving. And as you do, then every few days is when you have the chance to say, do I really want to quit? Or could I quit? And so then once you get through that one day at the roadway where you could get a ride home, then you're stuck for another 3 or 4 days. So I would suggest going out and doing it. Obviously, if you watch the videos or have watched the videos, you can see my first days, the first half, I didn't go over 5-6 miles every day. It was rough and grueling, but the views, the weight loss, the friends I made, just go hike. If you're worried about, how physically exerting it's going to be, in order to lose that pounds, you're going to have to exert the energy at the gym or wherever else. Just go do the trail. And if, like me, you're unable to complete it, the first time or in one shot or whatever else, you still, I tripled my mileage. So I don't know how many can say that in the first 300 miles they tripled their mileage. If you started at 8s, you'd be doing 25s by then. I figured I'd be starting at 5s and I'd be doing 15s by 300 miles in. It didn't work out that way. So yeah, my tentative plan is 2023 to rehike the trail. Right now I'm working at Amazon warehouse here in Houston, and I plan on doing that until I go hike February of 2023. The few months probably before I actually go on the hike, I'm looking at getting my CDL, my commercial driver's license, to drive the semi-trucks. And then after returning from the trail, that would be the plan, is to drive commercial trucks. We shall see whether I like that or not, or whether things change between now and then. Sometimes, what's the saying? Men make plans and God laughs. So sometimes his plan is not our plan, and or our plans are not his plan. I think it's Isaiah. My ways are not your ways. My thoughts are not your thoughts. So in any case, I apologize, especially to those who that felt I had abandoned you, and I guess in a way I did, and I apologize for that. This is not easy video to do, and I didn't really feel comfortable doing it until things were set enough that I could say what was my plan, not just, I'm ending it and I'll let you know my plans later. So, but I should have said something, that I was okay, that I was, off trail, whether I said temporarily or for the moment or what, to let y'all know. So I do appreciate you following me. In the meantime, before the next Appalachian Trail hike, I have a book of the 60 hikes in the Houston area. I've already done 1 or 2 of them now. And I plan on doing all 60 of those, completing the list there. And also probably probably this winter, in the drier season, it's sopping wet out here in Houston area. But in the dry season, I'll probably hike through the Lone Star Trail. It's 96 or 97 miles. And it'd be, at 3 miles. 3 miles, it'd be 30 days. But I don't think it's going to be 3 miles because it's flat. I believe the entire elevation change from start to finish is 360 feet. So we had afternoons that we would change that in half a mile. So if you are interested in seeing those hikes and would like me to video those as I do them, put the comment down below saying that yes, we would love to see, videos of your hikes. If not, comment down below anyway and say, we don't want to see you anymore. You loser, you bummed out. So I'm proud of being a loser. I lost 50 pounds. I've actually lost 10 or 15 more pounds since leaving the trail, and don't plan on gaining any of that back. So with that, I'm going to go to bed. I'm working the night shift, so just got home, and it's 6:33. So it's time for me to go to bed. And I apologize again for leaving you in the dark as long as I did. With that, Papa Smurf's going to sign off and go to bed. And depending on your comments below, we'll see you in the next video.